Hello, this is Wendy Fedan, and welcome to Create Away. I wanted to introduce you to a book that I have really been enjoying reading to my kids, and unfortunately the camera shows everything backwards, but it's called Harold and the Purple Crayon. I can't believe that I didn't read this book before my kids got it as a Christmas present this past Christmas. So I'm sure that probably a lot of you listening to this have read it or seen it or heard of it. I certainly heard about it a lot during my college years. People were talking about this book so much. I thought, what's this book you're talking about? And now I know what the big deal is because it is such a great book. And it is the perfect Create Away book. Because that's what little Harold does with his purple crayon. He creates a way, literally, with his purple crayon. I thought maybe I'd read just a little bit from the book. So it'll be a little bit of story time. One evening, after thinking it over for some time, Harold decided to go for a walk in the moonlight. You can see in this picture, the story starts out with him scribbling. And that's kind of what we all do when we start out, don't we? We scribble, not knowing what we're doing, where it's going, and eventually it starts to take form. There wasn't any moon, and Harold needed a moon for a walk in the moonlight. So he drew one. And he needed something to walk on. He made a long, straight path so he wouldn't get lost. And he set off on his walk, taking his big purple crayon with him. But he didn't seem to be getting anywhere on the long, straight path. So he left the path for a shortcut across a field, and the moon went with him. You see, the moon follows him through the whole story. On every single page, you'll find the moon. The shortcut led right to where Harold thought a forest ought to be. He didn't want to get lost in the woods, so he made a very small forest with just one tree in it. And so he goes on to draw apples in the tree, and he goes on an adventure through the whole book. He draws a little monster and he gets frightened, so he starts drawing little squiggly lines that become a lake that he falls into. And so that he doesn't drown, he draws a boat with his purple crayon to save him from the water. Draws a sailboat. And he draws land. Instead of just waiting to come to land, he draws land. And he draws himself a little picnic and little animals to eat the pies. And as he goes on his journey, he just keeps drawing everything that he comes across. And he draws a hill, and he falls off the hill, and instead of falling to his doom, he saves himself again by drawing a balloon, a hot air balloon. There he is. So I definitely urge you to check out this book. I'm sure that your local library will have it, if you don't already have it in your own library at home. It's just such a great little book, and it is the perfect Create Away book. So one thing I want you to think about when you take a look at this book for yourself, or if you're looking at this video, I've kind of summarized it for you. I thought maybe it would be fun to have you think about what the purple crayon represents to you and what the moon represents to you. Those are the two elements that are in this book that are on almost every single page. He starts out with the moon and it ends with the moon, and his purple crayon is with him the whole time. And the purple crayon is what he uses to create his way through the book. So my question to you is, what is your purple crayon? What in your life helps you, aids you to create your way through every step you take through life, every advancement that you make through life? I made a little note for myself. I thought, for me, I think the purple crayon represents my power, your inner power, the power that you have, your drive, your passion, that spark inside you that ignites you, and the moon, to me, well, of course, I can't help, since the moon is something that's in the sky and that is hovering over him, watching over him, and literally his guiding light. I, of course, think of the moon as God. I just tend to do that. I see God in everything. And I, of course, see God in the moon. So, but I urge you to take a look at these things and think about what the moon represents to you. What is your constant, your guiding light? And just think about that. So it's amazing what these little children's books can do for us. They really do. A lot of children's books, they have quite a lot of powerful symbolism in them. Whether it was intentional or not, I end up seeing symbolism in these children's books. This one especially says a lot to me. So check out Harold and the Purple Crayon. And I want to tell you, I'm really happy that you've tuned in. I hope you enjoyed this little snippet, and I look forward to doing more Create Away videos, and just giving you little snippets to think about every once in a while. So enjoy your day or your evening whenever you happen to be listening to this, and I hope you can create a way just like Harold did. All right. Goodbye.